Okay, welcome back, family. So, shooting the last video definitely took a toll on me more than I thought it would. So that's why I couldn't record again and post it yesterday. But I'm back and I'm here. What I'm gonna try and do, I reckon I can talk about baby number 2 and number 3 in this one video. So hold tight for that. That way I don't need to gear myself up again to talk about baby number 3 because I'm going to use all my energy now to get it done so I don't have to talk about this again. Okay, so baby number 2. There was a time, yeah, where I was seeing a guy and I had a bestie who was seeing that guy's friend. Okay, so it was almost like a double date type of linkage type of thing. But what was happening, so let me be clear. So I got me and my bestie and then my guy and his bestie. Yeah, that's it. So kind of like a double date thing going on. Now, at the time I didn't really see it for what it was, but in hindsight, which we will come to, what was actually happening was basically me, yeah, and the other guy who's seeing my bedroom, me and him, we kind of undercover were feeling each other, right? Now I didn't clock it straight away because whatever, innit? That's my bedroom's man. But I remember one incident happened there, and I remember kind of like looking at something happened that made me think, but obviously didn't take it any further because to be honest, the guy I was seeing and my bestie, they're not the type of people you want to be playing them type of games with. They're not forgiving people. So me and the other guy, because we never spoke about it, we never even used to do background eye signals, nothing, like nothing. You would have never known till later that we ever even dare to think like that. Like I said, the people were not ones to play with. So a time came where eventually I'm no longer seeing that guy, and this girl's no longer my bestie, and this girl's also no longer seeing the other guy. And then I ended up on Facebook again, Facebook, social media, social networking. Ended up on there, and they show you like suggested friends or whatever. So this guy has popped up, yeah. My bestie's ex has popped up on the side. So I'm like, oh my days, like I remember you, like it's been a long time. Guys, this is about 7 years after we were on this little double dating. So that's 7 years. So when I say that we weren't trying to stir up no waters, we left it 7 years. So I'm like, oh, messaging like, yo, long time, where you been? How you doing? He's like, yo. So basically, the energy of that conversation was basically like, yeah, we're free now. You get me? Like, he's no longer in my life. She's no longer in my life. He's like, yeah, he's no longer really in my life. She's definitely not in my life. So come to me, baby. I know, so bad. So yeah, basically, we got it cracking from that point. And what that looked like was he lived about half an hour away from me. So, and I wasn't driving them times. So when my house was quiet or whatever, I would jump out. I wouldn't jump out the window because now I'm older. So I leave the house, but I would take my mum's key on a sly. I was driving her car a lot anyway, more than her, so she didn't really notice when I had taken the key or not. It was basically with me. Jump in her car, and I used to leave around 11, so the road was clear. So I'll get there in about 20 minutes. Get there in 20 minutes. Then him too, he'll kind of do a little, not hardcore sneaking, but you get me, them sly ones. And then, because his mum was at home, innit? And then we'll go to his room, chill, hang out, etc., etc. And obviously we've always known each other to be bedroom, so that was like the core of our thing. It wasn't necessarily some love thing and all that. So it just had that kind of energy. But obviously I hadn't seen him in 7 years. This is like a re-link up, you get me? So I remember seeing him again thinking, sheesh, like, yeah, you know what? I have actually always had my eye on you. Actually, come to think of it, and you're nicer now than I could remember. So at that moment, I was sold. I was in. Now I've linked him and I've seen him again. I'm checking him out. I'm like, okay, cool. This is real. We're here. So that got cracking, and then the strangest thing happened. So let's say we're linking for some time now. I don't know what the duration, but months is months, maybe, whatever. It's getting to a while. Then he contacts me, I think it's by a call, and he's like, I need to talk to you about something. Okay, go true. And he's like, you know, I'm getting this thing. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, basically, like, I'm getting this thing that I need to stop messing with you. I need to stop linking like me, you need to stop doing what we're doing. So I was a bit like, what? First of all, I've never heard a man say anything like that to me. Definitely not on them terms. If a man's saying it, then they're just saying it like, boom, I don't want to be with you or whatever, I'm on something else. But to kind of come on some semi-spiritual thing or at least something like to do with his inner being, I was shocked. I was like, what? So I was intrigued. He was like, yeah. So at first I was like, okay, like, because I was like, okay, cool. What can I do? I got to respect that. So I was like, all right. Mixed feelings. Obviously, I was a bit disappointed because I wasn't ready to stop. You understand? Like, I didn't get no premonition or no message. Like, this has just been pounced on me. So I was just like, okay, whatever, cool. Left it. But then maybe like a few weeks went by and I was like, nah, I'm not ready to let go of this guy. Like, I was enjoying this forbidden fruit because that's what it was to me. You understand? This is my old bestie's man, ex. This is my ex-man's old bestie. Like, this is forbidden fruit. Like, this is absolutely forbidden. But I'm enjoying it. You get me? I'm on Eve thing. Like, I'm eating that forbidden fruit. You understand? So I'm like, I contact him. I'm like, yo, because in my head I'm thinking, like, once again, I don't believe, like, I've never experienced a man talking to me like that. So I don't really believe in it. You understand? I'm thinking men don't talk like that. Men don't think like that. Like, not all men, but you get me. They enjoy the thing. They want to be mixing regardless. So this is strange. So I'm not really buying into it. Plus, I'm not ready to accept it. So I'm like, give him a call. See if you can lure him back in. So I gave him the call, just as I expected. I lured him back in. If not the first time, then maybe the second time, because the first time he was a bit like, but I could tell the fact that he didn't say no straight away. I knew, oh, try again a little bit more. He's gonna be back on it. And I remember being like kind of making him double think that, are you sure? Like, you get me? Is that how just like Eve did? You get me? Like, well, that's what the devil did to Eve. But he was like, are you sure? And she was like, well, God said this and God said that. When basically, once you don't say no and you start contemplating, you're basically a foot in, right? So once again, here I am. I've already eaten the forbidden apple or fruit like Eve. And now I'm trying to persuade a man, lure him back in. Because that's what Eve done to Adam, innit? She was like, yo, eat some too. Well, though even Adam had been told better by God. So here's me just being a descendant of Eve. You get me? Like, if you don't break them generational cycles, they will continue. So here I am, continuing the legacy of Eve, yeah. And then we get back into it, and I'm like, cool, thought so, because you get me. So we get back into it. We're doing our thing, and then boom, I become pregnant. Now, what happened from this point, I cannot bring myself to repeat all that again. I talked about it in part 8. So what I'm going to do is crop that in here and put it in here. Now, or unfortunately, I became pregnant. And I was sick for like 6 weeks, but I didn't know I was pregnant. I just thought I was ill. So there was times I remember being in my living room, sitting down, laying on the sofa with my dad next to me, because my family just thinks I'm ill, not knowing because I've gone cheap in everything. No one said, yo, by the way, can we check this? So it's just when it was going on too long, I said, hold on. It came to my mind. I said, hold on, let me check something out. Checked it out now. Lo and behold, I'm pregnant. I'm like, hi. So obviously I've told the guy, like, boom, this is the situation. You know, I'm not sure if I want to keep the baby or not. He was basically like, nah, don't keep it, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, not every man's like that, but you know what I mean. So, because generally I was in two minds in the beginning, but sometimes you then base it on, okay, what's my situation gonna look like? What's the guy gonna say? So when they come with their negativity and sometimes it can lead you to be like, okay, nah, this is gonna be long. So he was moving long with it. So a point came where I knew, yeah, no, I'm not gonna keep the baby. I'm gonna move on. But I didn't tell him because a point came where my guy was always on the phone trying to giving me speeches, trying to you know, life, you know, this, you know, and I was enjoying just watching him. So I just kept it quiet. I didn't tell him. I was like, and I just kept telling him, oh, maybe I'll think about it, playing that card on him, which wasn't good. I was basically like, I don't know what that is. It's like emotional something, manipulation or whatever. So so yeah, so I did that, and then but basically by the time when I called them to say, yo, I want to book to have an abortion, I think, which sounds so sad and so bad, the waiting list was long, so they couldn't give me something till long time ago. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Which sounds so bad again, but I was pissed because I was just so sick and so fed up. Like, I was just like, if I'm not keeping the baby, then I just want to get out of this situation. So I was very pissed off, like, especially that guy pissed me off, like, seeing him, smelling him. I was just like, even the car I was driving that time, I couldn't even be in it. Everything made me sick. I was pissed off. So the time come now. Yeah, so they've given me an appointment that's so far away, and the pregnancy's growing, it's progressing, guys. So I remember a time here standing in front of the mirror and I'm like, yo, my belly is like, this is a pregnant belly, you get me? Looking at myself in the mirror, looking at my belly, I was just like, oh, so sad. But God forgive me, I went through with it. I did. I know. That's another topic for another day. We're gonna talk about that in like some other series. Like, so I went through with it, and guys, let me tell you about this. Yeah. First of all, that guy didn't come with me. I said, "Are you coming?" No, it's long. I was like, "Cool, whatever, forget you." So I went. Didn't want him there anyway, but whatever. I went, got there. Loads of people there, in and out. They call me, I go in, they prep me, whatever. Lay me on the bed, I pass out because remember, I'm far gone. Like, sorry for the details, but I think I was at 4 months, 5 months. Like, yo, you get me? Like, it wasn't good. This is a bad situation I'm sharing with you guys. Like, I'm sharing like bad situations out here. So I passed out, guys. Do you know how I woke up? I was like, crying, going nuts. They're trying to console me. I'm heartbroken. I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm like, no. You get me? I've killed my... Like, obviously, I didn't think that was going to have that effect on me if I knew. Yo, that experience was wild. They had to be like, and I'm sure many other women go through that, but it was just a shock to me, even though it was me doing it. I'm having a panic attack. Like, I'm like, you get me? What's happening? Like, you know, as if I didn't bring myself there. You get me? Like, that's how I was acting. I was acting as if I didn't bring myself there. Okay, so you heard all what happened. from that point when I got pregnant. And now I'm sitting here thinking about it when I was just talking about even that. Now I'm just like, well, there you go, in it, kind of, that's what you get, like. And thinking about it as well, you know, that ritualistic guy who called me one time and he said, yo, your people them are trying to like send a spiritual attack on me. Do you want me to send something back? It's almost as if that's what this guy was trying to say, but not that my people then were trying to attack him, but it was almost like something was urging him, like, leave this girl alone. You get me? Stay away from this girl. Like, you understand? We want better for her, or she needs better, so she ain't gonna let you go. So we're sending you to let her go, something like that. But he obviously didn't break it down that clearly, so he kind of made it sound more like it was him. So obviously, I don't, like I said before, I don't believe that. He genuinely believes that. So I was able to lure him back in. And that shows that it wasn't genuinely him, because that's why he got lured back in, you understand? Because it wasn't the decision he wanted to make. It was a premonition or something urging him to do it. So there you go, you know, that's the pains that I suffered from that decision. Just like Eve suffered pains, ironically, labor pains as well. And my thing ended up becoming, you know, abortion, and that's a form of a labor pain in its own way, childbirth, etc. So yeah, after all that, after the abortion, I was a complete mess on my bedrooms. But my bedroom and her mum picked me up, and then I went back to their place to kind of like recover, because I didn't want to go back to my parents' place for them to see me in that state. They would have known like, yo, what's going on? Do you get me? So, and that's how, yeah, I lost baby number two. Um, could have saved myself from all that. Could have really, really saved myself and the baby and him from all that if I was just, if I behaved myself, basically. So, um, all right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, and then just to wrap up, sorry, even after all that saga, me and him ended up linking again. Like, we obviously we stopped talking after that because we were sending on a little bee thing. But maybe, I don't know, about 2 years after that, pew, back again. So yeah, that's a food for thought. All right, so let's get into baby number three. So by the time baby number three's come, obviously I've developed anger issues. I'm a different kind of person. I spoke about this in part 8 and or part 9, and I'm also like a borderline alcoholic. Like, remember I told you about the guy who I, you know, when I the title I sold my soul, and I said to you, there's a time he came back to the house and I saw him back like brown juice, a whole bottle. And I told you guys that for me, I was shocked because I couldn't even take a sip of that. Now, fast forward, I'm at a point where I've always got a little small bottle of brown juice in my bag, and I'm just sipping it randomly every now and then. I went from not being able to take a sip. Now I don't need chaser, I don't need ice, no mixer, nothing. Not only is that the case, it's now in my bag. I'm carrying it around with me. Before, it used to sit in my yard in the corner unopened. Whoever wanted it could take it. Now I'm dragging it around with me. So I'm just showing you the evolution. Um, so I say all that to say I definitely was not in a good place. Like, I'm low and I'm not behaving myself at all by this time. So little time passed and I realized, rah, like, I might need to do a test because, you get me, things are not feeling right. Did a test and he's like, yeah, I'm pregnant again. So I'm like, yo, girl, like, now this was sticky because I'm gonna put my hands up, and this is the worst part of the story. Yeah, I didn't know who the father was of this last baby. I had to say in them type of increments because it's so hard to say as a proper sentence. It's just so bad. I don't want you guys running crazy numbers. What I'm about to say is still bad, but basically it was between 3 people. And I have to say, because I don't want you thinking, oh, was it 10? Was it 5? You get me? 3 is bad, but it was free. Okay, I'm telling you, it was free. So you had one guy here who must have hit me up on Insta, sent me a request. I accepted. We got talking there and then that night. We linked up and then we started linking. So he was prospect 1. Then you had the guy who I said I went to the studio with, and I saw that big thing in his waist, and it took the breath out my lungs. He's culprit number 2, and at that time as well, he was in jail. He ended up in jail randomly, like called me like, "Yo, I got nicked. I'm in jail." And I remember him making a comment. In fact, I'll save that for the next video. So he's culprit number 2. Culprit number 3 is this guy from the video, or I sold my soul. That guy that I was in a long, whatever that was, situationship type thing. So he was like the lowest percentage, like, you get me? It's not really, but either way, still, these are the prospects. So my head's hot. I'm like, I can't lie, I knew this baby definitely is not happening. You have to remember, I went from miscarriage where I lost a baby and I was so heartbroken. Then I ended up in this previous situation, baby number 2, and I've willingly gone for an abortion, which wasn't great, but I still did it. So now I've kind of chopped at that thick layer that was protecting me. For now, it's kind of well, I've lost 2 babies now and I've had an abortion. So I'm in like the effort mentality. Like I'm not feeling the pain anymore. Like, and that's why it's dangerous when you do one thing. You think sometimes you're like, I'll never do that again. But when you've done it once, there's a high probability if that opportunity or situation comes, you will do it again. That's why you did it the first time. Like, so this is all about being honest with yourself and and accountability. Most of the times you won't see it coming though. You understand? Like, but anyway, here I am now. I'm like, I therefore can't like can't this one that I don't even know who the dad is. This is long, and yeah, it's just long. But I want to throw a quick story in there, right? Years before this year, a good amount of years before this, maybe 5 years before this year, I believe I was in college or something, and I was at a bus stop. I had gone to a bus stop with my bedroom, and then my bedroom jumped off. We both jumped off, but she lives around that area for some, so she's gone home, and sorry, I'm getting a call. All right, sorry about that. So I'm leaving college. Me and my bedroom are on the bus. We jump off at a bus stop, and she continues and walks home. And I'm standing at the bus stop waiting for my next bus. So when I'm there, some fella's walking by. He's approached me. He's chatting to me, whatever. We switch numbers. We start mixing. But then I'm like, yo, this guy's a bit too crazy for me. Like, he wasn't 100% there. And like, he had like some crazy baby mother. So they were always beefing. So he was always talking to me about that. Yeah, this is happening, that's happening. And I was just like, oh my goodness me, this is total headache. Like why? What's going on? So I was like, I need to find a way to get away from this guy. But like I said, he was a bit crazy. So I was actually frightened of him. I was like, I need to find a way to do this properly and smoothly, because this guy's a bit of a nutter. Like, he's not, if I can't just sit down and tell him, oh, I don't want to be with you no more. He's not going to have it. So that was failing. I was struggling. I wasn't really finding ways to get out. So one day it just got too much. I was like, you know what, I don't even get it. Come what may, like I don't even give a damn. I just started like dodging him, weren't picking up his calls, started airing him, left it as that. Times passed and I start linking another guy. But this guy, it wasn't even with intent. So basically my friend was linking another guy and he came with this other guy and I was happened to be there. So we just started chatting. So you get me? It was just kind of like a just kind of happened type of thing. So we're linking or whatever chat. I say linking's a stretch. Linking's a stretch. It was basically like booty call. Like we were just, you get me, hooking up, so to speak. So a time's come where he's like, come to my yard. I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. I'll come through. So I get to his house and we're in the living room chilling. And there's other people in the house doing their thing, whatever. So someone's leaving the house. So they've come to to say bye to the guy that I'm linking. So they bust the door open, come into the living room. And obviously, because you've busted the door open, so I'm going to turn to look. So I turn to look, and it's the previous guy that was linking. He looks at me. I look at him. We didn't say a word. Come to find out, those two are brothers. I was like, oh my God. First of all, I was already frightened of you. That's why I couldn't break it to you. Then I dodged you. So you're basically pissed at me. We haven't wrapped up on good terms. Now you walk into the room and you find me sitting here with your blood brother. So obviously he's frozen and I'm frozen. So the brothers, and then he's like stepped out. So obviously the brother that I'm linking is a bit like, yo, okay. So he goes to me, 1 minute, I'm coming. So he leaves and I'm like, oh my days. If there was a door here, I would have ducked. But there is no door. They're by the door. They've gone out of the main living room. They're in the corridor where the front door is. So that's it. I'm trapped. That I have to sit here and await my fate to see what happens. So I'm like, oh God. So now the first guy that I was linking, who wasn't happy with the way I dealt with him, he's left the house because I've heard the front door shut. So he's gone. So the brother that I'm currently linking comes back in. And first he didn't say nothing. He just come sit down and I'm like, and he goes, oh, so you know my brother, yeah? And I'm like, yeah. I will never forget that moment. So I'm just throwing in that crazy story because it's not my first time slipping up and having cross engagement, so to speak. You know, that was my first experience of it. But even with that, I had some heart. By this time, I have no heart. I don't even care. I'm just like, whatever. Who are you available? All right, you're not available. All right, okay, are you available? So that's kind of how it was. It was just linking more than one man at the time. It's a reality. I'm just going to put it out there that it does happen. And so yeah, that was hot. That was hot. That was hot. That was hot. That was hot stuff. That was hot stuff. So yeah. So now, obviously, I'm like, okay, I can't have this child. So I've booked to have another abortion. Can you see the pattern now? I went from heartbroken miscarriage. Now I'm booking in abortions as if I'm admin. So I'll call them. I say, oh, boom, boom. And once again, I had to kind of wait a bit, yeah. And I'm in a bad mood. Like I said, I got anger issues. I'm a nasty person right now. So I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for this date. Hurry up, like, hurry up. I want to get this baby out of me, or etc. So the day before I'm booked in, I go to my parents' house because my parents had traveled. So it was just my siblings in the house. And obviously, because I've had an abortion before, I kind of know what it's about. So I was like, I don't want to be alone. I want to let me go to my bedroom house. Let me go to my family's house. Just so my siblings. I didn't tell them what I want, but I knew at least they're there in the house with me, so I got a bit of company or whatever, if anything. What you know. So I go there. I'm laying on the sofa, and then I get a call from the clinic, and they're like, "Oh hi, Rebecca, you're booked in for a abortion tomorrow, right?" I'm like, yeah. And they're like, unfortunately, we've looked at your results and basically, like, you got chlamydia. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you got chlamydia. I'm like, what? So now I'm vexed, like, I'm angry, like, at any of these guys, even though really and truly it's my fault. It's my fault because I've been messing around. And that's another problem, like, always putting your responsibilities, your crimes, your sins, your mishaps on other people. Like, that's something that I have done. Do you know what I'm saying? So immediately I don't think of myself. I'm thinking of them. I'm like, what? Who's done this to me? Blah blah blah. So they're like, look, because you got chlamydia, we can't do the procedure. So now I'm just like, are you kidding me? I've waited about 2 weeks for this already. Tomorrow's the day. I'm that close and I'm getting this call. So I'm very vexed. Now I'm out. So she goes, we can't do the procedure because I think she was trying to say if we do it, the chlamydia can spread to other parts of your body. So we need to basically get rid of the chlamydia, and then you're gonna have to do it in a tablet way, because even when we get rid of the chlamydia, there's still a little bit of a risk, and so you can't come in. We're not gonna do no procedure on you. So I'm fuming. So they're like, yeah, you need to now come in and grab your medication or whatever, etc., etc. Grab the medication, and then they also give me the pill for the abortion, etc. Go back, follow through with the procedure. Obviously, it's not a good experience at all. If you've ever been through it, it's painful, it's nasty, it's long, it's confusing because you're going through this process where the baby's passing away. So you're conflicted. You can see that the baby's passing away, and you got this moment to see it happen in front of you, and you're thinking, oh, am I doing the right thing, and is this the right thing, and then what am I doing, and why am I doing it? It's not like when you go in, by the time you come out, it's like, okay, cool, I can try to forget about that. It's like, no, you and the baby are in it together, you understand? So that was crazy, but that was also the time I promised myself. I said, nah, no way, never again. I don't care where the next baby comes from, who it's with, what the circumstances are. I'm not doing this again. I'm going to have the next baby. Like, if I mess up and I do something wrong and the situation ain't perfect, that's on me. But I swore on the ground that day, that's it. So obviously, moving forward, as you guys know now, I now have my baby boy. So that was a sworn promise from long time to him or whoever the baby was going to be, that you will make it to this earth. If it's up to me, obviously you can't always determine how birth and stuff is going to go. But if it's up to me, you're coming, you're going to come and see daylight. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Those are the choices and decisions I made that led me to losing 3 children who, if I didn't make those decisions, would be with me now. They'll be grown, they'll be doing their thing. There would be big siblings to baby boy now who would have utterly loved that because he's just on it. So, but what can we say? What can we do? What can we say? What can we do? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to leave it there for now. But once again, thank you for joining me, family. Thank you, and I'll be back. I will be back. Ciao for now.